What's good, YouTube? We have the Robbie Cole and I Tweety with us today announcing the match of Cam the Man Neal and also, sorry, Cam is always the man, and Jerrod Dunn. So will Jerrod get this done, or will Cam be the man? Which man's name will hold up here?
This is, I believe, one of our last matches this round before we go into top 8 as well.
Yeah.
Crazy.
One man. Of course, go ahead. Sorry.
And of course, special shout out to trollandtoad.com before we get this party underway. Without them, this tournament would not be possible, and possibly more good things to come when Zodiac gets to 25k.
25k.
Oh, by the way, in the chat, when you say Zodiac versus Texas would be more entertaining, that still is very much on the table. A 7-man Iron Man is possibly in the future.
It's going to be 7 or 5 depending on time and the format. We're getting there. Don't worry. We have things planned. You just got to give us time, because me and John have been busy. I literally just walked in the door probably 10 minutes ago from being out at locals today and hanging out with friends.
Getting into this match, set 2 and Vector. Vector actually shuts off a lot of scales and makes you have to have a physical scale and play to follow up the physical scale. And those 2 back rows combined with Vector, if he's playing against a Pendulum deck, is actually not...
But what if his opponent's just playing Infernoids, like, out of the left ball, and he's just like, haha, I open better than you?
I think he would have made a move with these 6 cards.
Robbie, not everybody has your luck.
Man, I played more Infernoids today. Like, I swear I hate that deck with a fiery passion. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I didn't see a single one at our regionals.
Must be nice.
I played Magicians round 1 and got my ass kicked. They destroy barrier statues.
Because they do all the pop, pop, poppity, pop, pop, pop.
And they have every single attribute that can be specialed as well. Oath
Pretty
Dragons.
sure back row is like Twin Twist. I mean, Wavering, because Vector Wavering is pretty good.
Oh,
it could be Draco and a Draco face off.
Now, if he has Damage Juggler, I think he sets the scale. If he does not, I think he goes ahead and pushes it into his,
or you can just be smart and get another Vector here.
Yeah, he popped the Vector in the back row. Or no, he popped both back rows?
No, he popped
yeah,
both
he popped. It was back rows.
Okay.
And also, it's a chance. So, like, it's a chance to get the Vector. But, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does land on Vector. Vector's getting specialed. No scale. So he's fine. He's fine with the Vector being there, which kind of telegraphs a Wavering.
Yeah.
But, is there... Yeah, there's the Wavering. Is there a Juggler? Yes, there's a Juggler. Now, is there a second Wavering? Welcome to the format, boys. Or is this an end of turn?
Has to be an end of turn. And the next turn, just put another scale, GG.
Well, maybe Skull Crobat end or some other play, but I don't know. This has been a pretty wacky turn, actually. Like, obviously not a second Wavering. Yeah, there's Skull Crobat. Just advance and thin as far as you can. I don't think he's going to scale unless he has the Magician already in hand. Can you spoil anything from the Rumble? Yeah, it's already public knowledge. I've already watched. You can go ahead and talk about the Rumble all you want. It's all over Facebook everywhere. It's not really spoiling. It's an event.
Actually all over Facebook. It's definitely all over.
Yeah, it's like a sports event. That would be like saying not to say the score of something. I will never enforce something like that. I don't consider wrestling spoilers as it happens. Oh, so he does get the scale. He gets the scale.
Part Naga, let's go.
Well, that... If he had played that part Naga, he could have gotten...
In Pendulum, what, 1?
I don't know. He could have gotten over the Vector on field, but I didn't know. The Pendulum 1 would, like I said, have to be Wizard to pop that Plush Fire and go off, so it obviously isn't Wizard in his hand. Or Sorcerer. Or they call it Sorcerer, right? I actually have it right here. Yeah, Sorcerer. My bad.
He could have his own Wavering and just game.
Yeah, here's Maxi.
Or he just attacks over and passes. Or set Wavering.
No set. Nothing. I don't think I would set Wavering because, like, look.
I wouldn't set Wavering either because, like, he would have to have his own anyways.
Yeah.
And the Vector is doing all the work right now.
Yeah, no reason to get your Wavering forced and pushed. I almost feel like Cam has another Damage Juggler in hand too. I mean, it is 2 cards. It's completely random, but it's just like because he didn't pendulum summon that Draco or try to do anything like.
Cause he's up, he doesn't have to pendulum summon because like he made him waste a card out of his hand, which is the Maxi, and he's under Vector, so there's no.
Oh, and here's his own Maxi back. Oh man, Cam in complete control here, and Vector of course shutting off that part Naga actually, so you can't even pendulum and boost and get over. Not that that would get anything anywhere. I think that's pretty much game at this point, depending on that last card. If it again, it can't be Wizard. Sorcerer. Gosh, I need to stop reading. This is why I don't read OCG stuff.
I love the OCG stuff.
Yeah, but you get hooked on the names. I still today call Spirit of the Six Samurai Relic of the Six Samurai.
So, honestly though,
He passed.
unless Cam floods the board here and that last card in hand is something relevant, I mean,
if he passed, it could be Juggler if he's not afraid that like Cam's gonna OTK. But I guess Cam wouldn't have that many monsters to just push a OTK through, so he's not like afraid of taking the damage.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna see a, the synchro, and he's gonna pop his own plush to special or shuffle plush. So is it a Ghost Ogre? Is it a Veiler? Ghost Ogre doesn't really matter to.
Yeah, he's gonna pop first, so he doesn't lose to Ghost Ogre.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably just gonna gain him.
Even if he can, it almost seems all but over.
he also still gets the Master Pendulum here as well, if he wants to special it.
Well, keep in mind, he has not normal summoned this turn either.
Yep.
I mean, if he has a spellcaster, he can go Trapeze, you know, Ignister double attack with something else. You know,
I don't know that you risk it quite. Like, yeah, that's saying the last card in hand is. Yeah, I guess it's worth the resources because you're gonna pitch the damage juggler here and get another summon too. Yeah, there's.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
I mean, if your opponent has the damage juggler as the one of card in your hand, like that's Yu-Gi-Oh. But if you have the chance in such a well-versed situation like that, go for it. Like, your opponent only has one resource. If your opponent hasn't made a plan for 2 turns, there's nothing that you can really do about it.
Well, the other thing is he's pitching damage juggler, so he's getting extra value and can reset his scale for next turn and keep it in his hand. So it is all worth
the
it.
Ignister also hadn't specialed yet, so he could keep going with combo, depending on the last card in his hand, and depending if he's playing the second hat tricker. If he's playing another hat tricker, then obviously he can go much further than he actually is. Also, Cameron here trying to get that gentleman's agreement going to side out wavering.
I wanted to see a game of no waverings. That'd have been great.
Yeah, but it's not that interesting.
I mean, that's true. You can play around it and stuff, but like.
Well, the thing is, so many people think that wavering is such an imbalanced card. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is, but the card's fucking ass outside of the mirror.
I do want to bring up that both I don't side it out when I'm playing mages and my opponent's not, because you obviously have a clear advantage against wavering, even though it's still a blowout sometimes. But both these players are playing mages, so they're probably at equal advantage. So the gentleman's agreement is, you know, being on the table is perfectly acceptable to either say yes or no to, but realistically, I'm guessing Geetster doesn't have as much confidence in his side and maybe sided for more matchups since it's a Zodiac tournament. And maybe Cameron was expecting the Pepe and had a specific side made for Pepe. So, and like being able to take those 3 slots out.
Yep, could be a thing. Could be a thing. I mean, the changing the deck throughout the tournament, like really put people in like a different factor of like tilt kind of thing, because you don't really know.
Interesting to see him opting to go first here.
Well, Alpay wrote an article about why you should go first.
I think going first, if your deck's, every time I see the person who goes first usually wins, and people are more and more setting up their deck to go first with a second hat tricker or help princess, just the even second gigabytes, like in my regionals second place deck profile. Like everybody's trying to get an extra monster to make sure they get an extra special in order to set up a huge board.
Yeah, but John, like, you're right. But holy grail of the format is going to be the person that builds the build to go second. Me and Kubo were having a discussion today. He's literally the neighbor to the old dragon, or the old world champion for Dragon Rulers.
Yeah.
Who beat the American player in finals. Me and him were having a long discussion today at locals. He said, honestly, the key to the format, though, is whoever can build the Pepe deck that goes second will be the most successful player of the format.
Now, it's very hard to do that and counterbalance Monarchs.
Yes and no. I mean, you have Chalice, you have Twin Twisters. It's not that hard to break a Monarch board after having a discussion with him about it
Almost
today.
everybody's going to Twin Twister. That's right. 1 to 2 in almost every build. 3 for some people, which it's so much, but it's almost necessary. Like, Twin Twister is the new Heavy Storm. You clear 2, like it's pretty much Heavy Storm.
But,
you get the free cards going second.
The thing is, like, Monarchs are essentially Pepe. They're building a castle, and you have to tear it down. Much like in the mirror match, you have to break your opponent's board and capitalize your own. You know, the field spell and a Monarch is literally the exact same thing. If you can break that scenario, you're obviously going to win. And that's one of the things that, like, Monarch players are going to have to be very skilled. And I think a lot of people are just discounting the deck as like, oh no, you can be a budget player and play the deck. No. The deck is going to take a skill curve. And if you think you can jump in and just play the deck, you've got another thing coming.
Like, you can't just be like, well, drop this Monarch. There's a lot of different technical plays with the Monarch deck that you can't just mess up.
Like, I literally just learned yesterday that there's a way for the deck to OTK, and I didn't even realize that.
With Monarch deck?
Yeah.
They just toss out everything. And they still have lots of cards. There's a almost not die feature to that deck where they just constantly savage you with their trap monster, so
But
just draw cards and stuff constantly, just over and over again.
I don't know. Like, having talked to Kubo today, I definitely got a little bit more interesting spin on the format now, and some other things from the OCG perspective.
Well, it's a lot of different things like going on with this format when the Monarch deck comes out. Like, do you really want to go first and then have your opponent do a lot of different things? Like, you play against Monarchs, they'll go second, they'll storm force you. Like, so, like, if you don't negate that with the Infinity, or you don't drop Infinity turn 1, then your turn's kind of like, you know, super bad position right there.
There's Solemn Strike.
Oh, that strike was disgusting.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's side decked in. I'm really surprised he didn't agree on siding out Wavering when he's packing heat like that.
This is another thing to take note of, John. Like, traps are really good and really bad this format. If you draw them, fucking kudos to you, my friend. Like, you're in a good position. But if you don't draw them, they're just dead weight in the deck.
But also...
I think that...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. Well, I think the best traps this format are just counter traps and traps that are like emptiness, like how Dragon's Bind, Emptiness, Solemn Notice, Solemn Warning. Treacherous Trap Hole is a really cool one because it's chainable. But other cards, this format, like, I don't really agree with. Like, people want to play Torrential and stuff like that, like where you have to like wait for something. I just don't think that you should be playing stuff like that. I feel like the Solemns are fine because they're counter trap and you can't respond to it unless you're playing like something stupid like Wiretap, but you know, whatever.
I want to
note.
Sorry.
Good. Go ahead.
It's about the match. I want to note here that once again, Cameron's offensively played this Vector Pendulum.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's still gonna have to play around a nasty ass time space coming from a Geats here. And I almost guarantee you, if there's a strike in there, there's a time space floating around as well. So, like, yeah, that Vector's cute and all right now, but there's some really retarded shit still lurking.
He pitches his own damage juggler here, almost telegraphing that he would have another.
More combo pieces, my friend.
Cameron says 1 second.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I think Cameron was thinking about pitching his own damage juggler. Maybe.
Well, he took the 18, so it would be surprising if he would.
Good. Joe's here joining us.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him say. I was looking at something else real quick, and then I came back. I saw.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Howdy, we're in a match with Cam the Man Neal. We're game 2. Cam took game 1. In a pretty dominating fashion, despite a start of Vector set, and getting both of his sets twin twistered.
I definitely think this format is based on a person's deck building, and more so on that than a person's ability to play the deck. Considering like,
you're right and
I'm not
you're
saying
wrong.
I'm not saying like 100%, but I think that more so this format is like 70% is based on like how did you build your deck for the format, and then the 30% is on technical play.
You've also got to factor in the opening hands. Like, your deck can be near perfect, but if you're not drawing consistently throughout a tournament, like, your ass is gonna get wrecked.
I mean, yeah, there's that luck factor where like you want to, even if you are playing the best deck.
I mean, I can tell you, like, my deck might not have been the best going into the last event over the weekend, but like looking at some of my hands, like, there's some pretty disgusting hands. Like, you either open bad, mediocre, or really good. And honestly, I'm seeing more mediocre, and my opponent's opening better than me almost every game. You know, like, that's kind of how Pepe is. Like, honestly, both of these players opened up kind of normal. You know, like, you didn't see diarrhea on the board, like 5 monsters.
Well, the thing that's really relevant that I agree with Tyrone about is that like you can actually tell somebody how, like with this deck specifically, you can map out almost all of your plays because you know how your deck works. The thing that really separates the people who like know how to like play the deck and the people who are actually really good with the deck are the people who manage the resources. Like you know somebody's not very like experienced with the deck, or they don't really know what they're doing. If they'll just drop Infinity, like that's what'll happen. Or you'll see people that you get like the maximum use out of the resources to set up like explosive pendulum plays every turn.
And yeah, Infinity's one of the cards that you like. I thought Infinity was the go-to card, and after actually playing the deck, I make Infinity a lot less than most cards. And honestly, Rafelsia is one of the best cards in the deck.
Rafelsia Nightmare is amazing, and a lot of people like it's really underrated. That play alone is really underrated.
I think people just don't understand the fact of like Cyber Dragon Infinity is like broken. Like, don't get me wrong, like stealing a monster at any point in time during the turn and being able to get any card for free is like really, really awesome. But if your opponent has 7 cards in their hand or 6 cards in their hand and you have an Infinity, they could just toss out any card for you to negate. It's different if you drop the Infinity, they have 3 cards in their hand. Or top
Well, it's
deck.
the same thing with Giant Hand. Like, Giant Hand's a middle to late game card.
People just don't know how to play the cards correctly right now, and they're like going into the format and seeing people not drop the Infinity, and then halfway through the game, this Infinity finally gets dropped, and they're like, "Well, now I don't have anything to alpha."
Well, that's specifically to the mirror. I mean, Rogue will run you down. Like, it's kind of sad. Rogue is very powerful at the moment.
Infinity's broken if you make it broken, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the same thing with anything that's Protect the Castle. Like, your castle's only as strong as you make it. Like,
yeah, back row definitely helps, but then again, you're dedicating space to back row, which is...
Yeah, well, that's the problem, though. Like, there's not a lot of space. Like, I want to play the deck at 40. It's not the best way to do it. 42 is good. I've seen people going to 44 to 45. And, like, I even heard someone today say they had success with 48. Like, what is this? Like, the ceiling is high with this deck, don't get me wrong. But the plays and rotations that you can make are much lower than people give it credit for.
Yeah, because the extra deck is so tight. Like, there's different, like, ending fields that you can always end on. There's, like, you can end with Ignister, Draco, Fusion Monster, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Rafflesia, or, like, Rafflesia, Ignister, X card, or, like, the Lizard Draw, and, like, a whole bunch of different monsters, or just have, like, the Pendulum Wizard in your scale, and then have, like, a lot of boosted Performer Pals. It's, like, a whole different like aspects of the deck that you can do, but at the same time, your opponent literally knows how their deck is going to be able to fight Infinity, Rafflesia, or Infinity.
For an example here, Tweety, before we get into it, if you look at the board that Cam has to deal with at the moment, Hat Tricker, as you can see here, is going to out the Rafflesia, which will bait the time space if he's playing it, maybe, if he wants to dump it. And then a pendulum summon's going to clean up the board. But most of the time, though, if your opponent has a trap to back up the Rafflesia, like, it's just game over for you.
Well, here's the out to Rafflesia right here. He's going to go ahead and make Diamond Dire and get rid of it.
Yeah, we just pointed that out.
Yeah.
Like, the board will be broken.
Yeah, Diamond Dire's actual effect here is activate Rafflesia.
It's Diamond Dire, bait the Rafflesia. Like, make the little girls pet me because I'm a dog. Like,
well, do you even bother to activate it because, like, or just keep the time space in deck and not pay the 1,000?
Oh no, you keep the time. Well, you keep the time space in deck because you don't want your opponent like hitting you down 1,000. Like, the closer you get to death, the worse off you are.
And you give.
And why do you want your opponent to be able to reuse their Diamond Dire Wolf?
Yeah.
I mean, so what? You sacrifice your Rafflesia, but you're up 1,000.
Yeah, it's definitely not the worst top deck either.
Your options right now are pay 1,000 or keep my Rafflesia. Like, I'd rather just lose the Rafflesia because it's another monster zone to combo with.
Well, giving him access to like getting rid of another card too, because it's not like the Rafflesia.
I wish I could understand your broken. What?
That was nice. That was good.
Yo, I got next level today at locals. Imagine like this.
That was good.
Imagine Getz just sending Treacherous Nightmare here from his deck to the grave in combo to the Rafflesia.
That would almost be
it's gonna treacherous.
Yeah,
he goes Treacherous, Chain, Traptrix, Trap-Hole, Nightmare.
Well, his
that would almost be unreal.
That was the right play right there.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good play. Instead of Diamond Dire for one, he's gonna. And I assume that he has a second hole.
Because he knows that his opponent can't respond to it because he can't make it a Traptrix. And like
yeah, there's nothing you can do.
There's no. He had already had a trap in his grave, so he couldn't like treacherous him back. So.
Ooh.
Oh, this pendulum summon's disgusting.
It's the stones.
It's pretty much game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs.
This is exactly where Infinity is amazing.
Yes, definitely.
And we're getting extra draws.
Imagine the last card
combos.
in Cam's hand being a Wavering Eyes or some shit like that. It's not, but
I don't think that there's any way to think that he doesn't have either bottomless or time space in his deck.
Thanks for the donation, Saint Maddox. Really appreciate taking off my jacket in the middle of winter.
oh gosh, you're getting down to a tank top already?
Yeah.
Every time.
Enjoying the great commentary in the stream between John, Joe, and Robbie.
Everything's cold in Texas.
Keep up the great
I was
work.
thinking
By
it's
the
cold,
way, John,
but it's like
it is tank top
60
time.
degrees.
At least it's not like 25 inches of snow where Jersey is at the moment.
Crazy.
What do you want, man? It was really difficult for the last 2 days not being able to do anything.
Dude,
I know,
that's
especially on the
like,
weekend.
I'm so bored.
How was your canceled regional? Was it fantastic?
Oh, it was great, man.
The dream.
And then I had to wake up today at like 7 in the morning to shovel like 2 feet of snow.
Oh, wow.
It was the best.
Okay. Does Dynaster come out here at the end of this loop? Because if he goes Magister.
No.
Oh no, Polites. Oh god, he has extra deck room for that?
I'm not gonna say something, it may be something else.
Durendal, Drone Lockbird?
I wouldn't say... Okay, there's Maxita.
Oh no, the Drone Lock here.
Yeah, we'll find out here in a second. Alright, well, let's play these.
Okay. No next leveling.
Well, since it already happened, what do you think it could have been, John?
What Robbie said, that's why I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, Durandal?
Yeah.
Durandal Droll? Yeah.
We've seen that a lot from our
two
local
cards,
area.
like, you just blowed them out at that point. But
Yeah.
but the thing was, like, he maxed seed there, so you could have just draw unlocked and just not really cared. Like,
There's not really anything he can do to like beat this field at all.
yeah, because there's a time space taking, there's an Ignister, Lizard Man, Polites.
Time
has
space or
bottoms.
bottomless.
Doesn't even matter what it is. He has
Yeah,
to deal
either
with
one of
this.
those.
There's like he can't pin something and have a successful way to out the field.
Well, I mean, what does he have in his extra deck besides Turtle?
Nothing, I think. Like
There's
a
the
lizard
lizard
draw?
draw. Yeah, I got
There's a
attacked.
lizard- yeah. That sucks.
Summon the Zord, draw pass.
2 cards cannot out this.
Yeah, there's the game.
Definitely.
So, any final notes before we wrap this up for YouTube?
That trap trick play was really good. Everybody was talking about Diamond Direwolf, and he busted out the Treacherous Trap Hole for 2 instead of Diamond Dire for 1.
And got it out of his deck.
I didn't actually see that he was playing Treacherous. I assumed that we should have. But shout out to Cam the Man Neal for making top 8.
Yep. Congrats, Cam. Congrats.
Take it down for Texas. Take it down for your fallen brethren. No bias commentary here.
I assume we're just gonna chill now.